Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hari Om to everyone. Happy Monday, day of the moon. Hope you put the philosophy into practice over the weekend. Yes. Anyone saw any tribulations in life like the king saw, King Yudhisthira? So we can definitely put the philosophy into practice. So we're concluding the chapter teachings of Queen Kunti, right? The queen, very royal family, pure devotee simultaneously, right? So sometimes people think, oh, a spiritually evolved person has to be poverty stricken. Yes. No, we see here the queen, royalty, has everything and simultaneously understand everything they have is a gift from God. This is a devotee. So she completed her prayers, and now Maitreya is relating to Vidura now, a different part of the Mahabharata. The part of the Mahabharata to bring up the powerful story of grandfather Bhishma. So to enter the story of the grandfather Bhishma, he's relaying how King Yudhisthira became bewildered. So everyone in this room studied the Gita with me, right? Arjuna is the most powerful warrior. He's the most skilled. But what happened at the beginning of the Gita? Anyone?
He's very much confused and full of anxiety.
Arjuna became bewildered. He became confused of who he is. He's feeling anxiety. And not only that, he starts to philosophize why he shouldn't fight. Right? So even when someone is deluded, they can philosophize why they are right, isn't it? Who has met someone like that? The person is completely deluded and they can argue and try to prove themselves that they are right. Who has met someone like that before? Right? Amazing. So we learn, Vyasadeva writes, the reason why Arjun became bewildered, why Arjun became confused, deluded, fearful, even though he was the most powerful warrior. What was the main reason? Anyone can answer that in the group?
He's fighting against his own family.
Yeah, that's there, but why did he? I mean, even before he got to he knew he was going to fight against his family members, but why did he get deluded at that moment?
Because he was like not sure like about his duty.
Yes, all that falls into his delusion. Yes, but why? Why did he become deluded? The main reason.
He had a misconception.
Yes, all that is part of his delusion. But why did he become deluded? You all know the answer. Trust me, you know it.
He did not want to kill his relatives and make them
Yes, that's
off.
another reason why he was deluded. You all know the answer. Why did Arjun become deluded and didn't want to kill his family, friends, and this and that? Why?
Was it because he thought he was this body? He thought that this illusion was reality.
Okay, that's another part. Good. Anyone else? All good answers. Okay, this is the number one reason why Arjun became deluded. Write this down. So that Krishna could speak the Bhagavad Gita. That's the only reason Arjun became deluded and confused and didn't want to fight and had the only reason was so that Krishna could speak the Gita. If Arjuna didn't get deluded and we wouldn't have the Song of God. We wouldn't have the Bhagavad Gita. So that's the only reason. Because remember, he was a pure devotee. He understood the philosophy. But then he got confused. So then he took Krishna as his guru. Then Krishna started to speak the Gita. And that's why we have the science of the soul, transcendental knowledge, karma, dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga, devotional service, the 3 modes of nature. All that got spoken. Krishna shared all that wisdom because Arjuna got deluded. If we wouldn't got the Gita today. Yes? So sometimes when a great soul like that gets deluded, it's not like an ordinary materialistic person. A materialistic person gets deluded, they're just trying to get happy for me, myself, and I. They just want to get more and more material assets. Arjun's delusion is not like that. You meet someone today who's materialistic, they want me, my, and more, right? So this is the difference. So now, we see the same thing repeating itself here. Arjun's eldest brother is also a pure devotee. He's the king, King Yudhishthira. And yet, now he's getting, we call it, write this word, Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya means Krishna's illusory energy. So that devotional service can be performed. Amazing. So the illusion that covers me, you, and the normal humans of this world and the animals, that is called Maya. That's illusory energy. Yoga Maya means Krishna's internal illusionary. That's to increase devotional service. Yes? The regular Maya is you are just going through the laws of action and reaction. We're deluded thinking we are the body. But when a pure soul gets deluded, wait, there's a reason why. That's called Yoga Maya. So Yoga Maya covered Arjuna's intelligence. The Gita is spoken. Yudhishthira, Krishna just established him as the king. All the Brahmins establish him as the king. He's not just Yudhishthira, he is Raja Yudhishthira, King Yudhishthira. So then, Yoga Maya, Krishna puts Yoga Maya in his consciousness again. So that's what's taking place now. Yes? Good. So let's continue. I think we're at mantra 40. We'll read 47. We did 47. We'll just reread it so we can continue. It says here, King Yudhishthira, the son of Dharma, overwhelmed by death of his friends, and was aggrieved just like a common materialistic man. O sages, thus deluded by affection, he began to speak. So a hint is given here right at the beginning of this mantra. He is the son of who? Not Vayu, not Indra. He is the son of Dharma. And we know Dharma, right? What is Dharma translated as in the Vedas?
Religion.
That's one way. Prabhupada will sometimes translate it one way like that. Just so that
what you're supposed to do.
Other points, Srila Prabhupada gives more deeper real translation for it.
One's own nature.
That's one's own nature, but Prabhupada will even go deeper. One's own nature is the starting point, but yes, what is one's own natural nature?
The direction.
To serve.
The soul, natural dharma is to serve God out of love. So in this world, there's a deity for karma And we know she is Durga. Durga controls the law of karma. There's the law. There's a deity demigod in charge of dharma. So when we start our spiritual path, we know we're getting blessed by dharma. So Arjun is the son of Dharma. Yudhishthir is the son of Dharma. So right off the bat, Yudhishthir is born with genetics and mentality and thought patterns to follow the Dharma of morality and spirituality. Amazing. He was even so more evolved than Arjun in that point that we know that he stated, Yudhishthir never told a lie. All the other brothers did. But because he was so in the mode of dharmic principles, everything he did was dharmic. Nothing was out of dharma, out of morality. When I heard, I was like, wow, could people be like that? Because I look around my world and I'm like, everyone's breaking the law. You growing up in Belize, all my friends, they're just, we're so far from dharma. So the word for us, write this word, adharma, adharmic. Once you put an A in front of the word, it becomes the opposite. So adharma, adharmic. This tells you, Yudhishthir for sure never ate animals. He never killed animals. He never performed anything which was adharmic. He never lustfully lost his consciousness for female form, or always with respect, just so dharmic respect. You can't say that about Bhim, right? The other brother, right? Bhim had so much rajas in him, right? So the Mahabharata describes, oh Lord. Whereas Yudhishthira is dharmic, Bhim was like the wild, Vayu, the wind. Can anyone calm the wind down? Very hard. So Bhima, being the son of Vayu, he was just erratic of all the brothers. So constantly Yudhishthir had to tame Bhim. Hey Bhim, calm down. You're eating too much. Let's eat in moderation. Because Yudhishthir never overate. Bhim, the opposite. Whenever they had leftovers, Bhim would eat all of that. It's like, so he was so you can see the different qualities of each one of the Pandavas. Yudhishthir, dharma, never offended others, never, the way he dealt with elders, the way he dealt with his peers, the way he dealt with his juniors were always dharmic, in line with spiritual evolution of the soul. So I heard that, man, I was thinking, man, yeah, there are a lot of good things in my culture in Belize, but they're so far from dharma. As I started, because that was the only mirror I could mirror my 17-year-old mind to, right? The culture I was brought up into. So I was like, whoa, man, this is far out. Like, that's where we got to go. The soul got to go on this journey. So it says here, being the son of Dharma, right? Morality gives us a hint. Overwhelmed by the death of his friends, was aggrieved just like a common man. So he knows the soul never dies. But yet he starts to get grieved. He starts to enter this grief. When he saw him, because remember how many people, someone else besides Jenny, how many soldiers died on the Battle of Kurukshetra? We said it last week. You wrote it down. Let's write it down again then.
16 million.
640 million soldiers died in the Battle of Kurukshetra in 18 days. Wow, that's a lot of, we call it Ugra karma, a lot of negative, right? But then we heard, wait, it's not Ugra Karma Mahabharat, right? Because 640 million of those souls saw Krishna as their last thought. So all those souls went back to the spiritual world. That's amazing, right? So he knows, so Yudhishthira know these people who died, they saw Krishna. So he knew they didn't have to take a rebirth in this material universe. Yudhishthira understand Dharma. Oh, the last thought they had was Krishna. They went back to. So why did Yudhishthira started to grieve like a common person? Why do common people grieve? Because the common person doesn't knows what happens to the soul after death. The common person grieves because they're thinking so and so is dead. But that's illusion. Someone like Yudhishthira, King Yudhishthira, the son of Dharma, knows it is only a change of material bodies if you come back in this material world. So Arjuna, so Yudhishthira, no, all these souls, 640 million, those souls went back to the spiritual world. So why is he grieving like a common person? That's this mantra he's saying. So he's acting like a common person. And in that deluded affection, he's affected by it, he began to philosophize. He begins to speak. Let's see what he says. King Yudhishthira said, so remember, he's deluded like a common person. Oh, my Lord, I am the most sinful man. Just see my heart, which is full of ignorance. This body, which is ultimately meant for others, has killed many, many phalanxes of men. So the first point he says that he is the most sinful, most sinful. So it is described, the false ego speaks whenever we use the word most. In the yoga culture, people go to pray to God, I am the most fallen. No, that's your false ego already defeated. No, you're fallen. Just say, I am fallen. But no, I don't want to be fallen. I want to be the most fallen. That's even more false ego, right? So, or something, the two disciples go to the guru. And one of the disciples says, oh, I'm the most humble. That's your false ego speaking. You're not the one who says, this guru understands right away the real one who is humble. Not the one who is claiming to be, I'm the most humble out of all your disciples. That's false ego. Like sometimes right here in Florida, we drive around, there's so many churches, right? And we're looking and we see it came to my mind, a lot of the churches are written like the First Baptist Church. It's not like the second or the third. It has to be the First Baptist Church. Like it makes it more spiritual. I'm like, or they always use the First Methodist something. Like, hello, that's false ego again. Just call it Baptist Church. Just call it Methodist Church. Why does it have to be the first, right? Who's seen those churches like that before? I was like, that's an extension of false ego. So here Yudhishthira is saying, I am the most sinful. That's his false ego speaking. That's the false ego speaking. Whenever we're thinking we're the most anything. Srila Prabhupada used to say, how about, don't use the word most rascal. You're just a rascal. Prabhupada used to say, so some of his disciples, they misuse the donations, right? So Prabhupada called him, that's not right. You have to do everything dharmic. You're a rascal. And then Prabhupada, I'm the most rascal. No, you're not the most anything. That's your false ego. Right? Someone gives you a donation for printing the books. It should be used to print the book. Like Prabhupada was so dharmic that when his disciples, they were young, right? 20, 21, they made mistakes. So Prabhupada had to correct them. And as he would correct them, so he'd be so like dharmic with them. And they were, wow, you learn through the correction, yes? If Prabhupada didn't correct them, they would continue with the false ego. So we can see an ordinary person, right? The most. So here he's thinking, I am the most sinful person. Now, when we use the word sinful in Sanskrit, duratmana, or sometimes papapurusha, where right off the bat, we are understanding that there's a law of karma in the universe. So whenever the yogis, they use that phrase, what Yudhishthira is telling us is his actions are going to create negative reactions. So that's what it means whenever you see the word sinful in the yogic culture. So it's an act which will bring negative karma. Because if you act dharmically, it will bring positive karma. So he's saying, my actions was the most sinful. So the negative karma is coming back. He's acting like this. So he says, just see my heart, which is full of ignorance. This is important, right? He's the king, and he's thinking his heart is full of ignorance. So simultaneously, a sign of humility is coming out, right? Simultaneously, in one statement, he says one thing. Simultaneously, you can see the nature of his consciousness. He's thinking that his heart is very polluted, right? Amazing. Which leader today will go on TV and says, everyone, I just want to let you know, my heart is full of ignorance. And the leader going, nah, doesn't exist in Kali Yuga. Today we don't have that level of purity, not just for political leaders, but any leader in any part of society, a leader, the dean of universities, the head of anything. It's hard for them to make a statement like this. But here, this soul is so pure, he can voice it, and he's saying, my heart is full of ignorance. Wow. Amazing, isn't it? He's the king, and he's saying his heart is full of ignorance. So let's continue. And he gives why. He says, this body, which is ultimately meant for others. Does anyone know what does that mean? Your body, according to the yogic culture, according to the Vedas, your body, he says here, he quotes. Remember, he's quoting the Vedas, so it sounds good. He says, your body is there to please others. What does that mean? How do you interpret that? Anyone?
To serve others.
In what way? Give us an example.
Just to work for others' well-being or their pleasure. So it's not about me, myself, and I.
Good. So the parents. So the parents' body is to give pleasure to the child, right? All of us got, some of us got breastfed from our mothers, right? So it says here, which is ultimately meant for others, this body. So the parent's body gives pleasure to the child. Then as we grow up, our body gives pleasure to others in what? Some other forms. Let's see some other forms of service, right? So the king, he's a king. So what is his body meant to be? His body, as the king to rule, is meant to give pleasure for the citizens. He should live in such a way where people are inspired spiritually, people are inspired materially, people are living in peace, people are, and that's why the war is there. He removed the evil from the face. Now the planet becomes peaceful. So he doesn't this one is tricky in Kali Yuga. He doesn't overtax the citizens, right? Yeah, so he taxes the people, but he doesn't overtax them, right? We need to pay taxes, right? We know taxes help to keep our military strong, keep medicine, so many things are there to let, just so the masses can be happy, peaceful people, so they can progress both materially and spiritually. So Yudhishthir, he's a royal, he has a lot of wealth, but simultaneously, he's devoted to God. So he's the perfect example of to show the both, right? A doctor, if you are a doctor, you have a doctor, you have a human body, as a doctor, your body is to serve patients. Yes? A lot of us in this room, we take the role of a yoga teacher, meditation teacher. You are there to help to alleviate the suffering of others, right? So in one way or another, our bodies are not just for our own self-pleasure. Our bodies and mind is a gift from God. God can work through us. So as God works through us, we bring pleasure and ease difficulty for others, right? Whenever I have a technological gadget, it's so chaotic for me. Hello, Kai, can you alleviate my suffering? Right? That Kai is gifted with that. So he, with his gift of his sight, he alleviates the suffering of other people. So, right, we have our hostess, right? Vivian, alleviate the suffering of so many people on flights, right? They go through turbulence, you have to calm them down. Some people sometimes don't know certain etiquettes on the plane, you have to show them how, right? I remember the first time I flew a plane, I didn't know what to do, I was so excited. And I remember the hostess kind of helped me, hey, okay, this is, it's the service of the hostess, right? Amazing. School teachers, right? You have your body, God works through you to alleviate the mental plane of the students, so they empower them to grow, to learn. So this is a far out Vedic dharmic phrase he quotes here, that your body is meant to share and inspire others. So I like that statement. He says, this body, which is ultimately meant for others, his body has killed many, many phalanxes of men. So remember, he's deluded, right? There's a reason why Krishna put him in this delusion. Because we know he killed many people, but he didn't kill as many warriors as Arjun. And Arjun is not deluded. Arjun. So there's a reason why Yudhishthira is getting deluded. Just like Arjun got deluded in the beginning of the Gita, so Yudhishthira is getting deluded for a reason as well. We'll get to know. Let's continue to the next mantra. Mantra 49. He says, I have killed many boys, Brahmins, well-wishers, friends, parents, preceptors, and brothers. Though I live millions of years, I will not be relieved from the hell that awaits me for all these sins. So, again, he knows the Vedas very well. So he's quoting, right, that if you kill kids, whether accidentally or you met, like when they kill Arjun's son, Arjun's Abhimanyu, right? He was a kid. There's negative karma for that, sinful reaction. You kill Brahmins, there is negative reaction for that. So he knows it. So he's like, wow, throughout my time, I killed so many people, and yet I am living. I like this phrase, millions of years. In other words, an evil-minded person, what are they thinking? Krishna says it in the Gita, remember? I have killed my enemies, and tomorrow I will kill more. That's how the evil-minded thinks. But Yudhishthira is pointing out, yes, as you kill someone, you get to live longer than them. So he's thinking, I shouldn't be given this long life. I shouldn't be, because I killed so many people before. He's thinking, Right? He's deluded, right? He's thinking he's the doer. Right? He forgets Krishna has a plan for him. But simultaneously, he's bringing out some very beautiful philosophical points that someone who kills someone, in their mind, a materialistic person is thinking, yeah, I'm living longer than them. No, the soul is eternal. You're not. No one is living longer than anyone, right? So when you see someone pass away, no, they're still living. The soul is living. But someone falls ego. Yeah, I killed that person. I'm living longer than them. No. That person's still living. And so we have to really see what the philosophy he's pulling. The false ego convinces us that we're going to live for a long time. But a long time is nothing compared to eternity. In Kali Yuga, we only live maybe 100 years. In the previous yugas, they used to live 10,000 years, 100,000 years. So if we reach 100 this life, wow, you've been blessed with longevity gene from Krishna. So we look at it like that. Good. Let's go to the next one. Next mantra. He says, there is no sin for a king who kills for the right cause. So he makes his point. Who is engaged in maintaining his citizens. But this injunction is not applicable to me. This is his humility. He's thinking, if a king kills for the right reasons, for the right injunction, there's no reaction. But all those Vedic principles that are there are not relatable to me. Because he's thinking, his heart is filled with ignorance. So, although he's in this delusional state, amazing philosophy coming out. So if you meet for the right cause, and this is always a misinterpretation of many people who goes to spiritual history texts. They go to spiritual history texts and someone might misinterpret the Gita. You see, unfortunately, a lot of people misinterpret the Quran, right? They go put a suicidal vest on their body and they misunderstand. Unfortunately, I just read he was the first imam who came out as gay in 1996. And they just assassinated him, I think, a couple days ago, unfortunately, right? Like, that's a misinterpretation of the Quran, right? Deep in the Quran, deep in the Gita, you'll see violence. But violence is there when it is needed. And I think all of us agree with that. And that's why we have our police force, right? If we are not in the position of a police badge, we're not trained, you call 911 so that they can apply violence to the criminal. So there's a violence which is needed, but we don't want to misuse it. So the yogis understand, no, it's not that all violence is bad. There are times when violence is good, right? Now, whether to gauge that, it becomes a gray matter, right? Because the intellectuals today don't understand Dharma. We shouldn't even say intellectuals. We should say shadow of intellectuals, right? They're not in tune with Dharmic principles, so they make decisions which in their mind they think it's right. It's amazing. Illusion can bewilder someone to make them think something is right, when even though it's not right, and the whole world could see it's not, but in their mind they think it's right. So it's a tricky one, right? And I think America struggles with it, right? It's a issue with what's the police force? Is it something with the? I see support the blue or something like, whereas the police are authorized, they're trained, they're authorized to use violence. But if the police misuse the violence, yes, he should be removed from the authority. But then they get lawyers involved and just become a gray scale. You are out of tune with with Dharma. So whenever we're in danger, if a police is nearby, we all feel protected. Whenever we're in danger, we see a military person, someone who's trained in military, we all feel protected. So they're there, they're trained, they went to military school, police school. They're, you know, they can protect. But if the misuse comes, that's the problem. So he's thinking he is someone who is misusing his power of a king. Let's continue. Next one. 51. He says, I have killed many friends of women. In other words, on the battlefield, there were friends who had friends or husband, wives, right? And I have thus caused enmity to such an extent that it is not possible to undo it by material welfare work. So this is an amazing point he makes here. To every action, there is a reaction. So when we make a negative action, the yoga culture, the Vedas teaches us, there is a way you cannot counter it. Or no, there's a way to minimize the reaction. God made us, and He knows we are imperfect. We're going to make mistakes. So if you follow the laws of the universe, then you can start to counter it by giving charity, doing this, doing that, doing this. But in Kali Yuga, there's a way. The way to counter it fully, to uproot it, right? To uproot all of our negativity. In the Vedas, it says to do horse sacrifice or bull sacrifice, right? So he used to do those. He used to do Ashwamedha sacrifices. And it's described, like I said, when they did his sacrifices, then the soul of the animal instantly got a rebirth. And because the mantra was chanted to the tongue of Vishnu, that soul came back in a higher birth. Or sometimes that soul went back straight to the spiritual world, depending on who's doing the sacrifice. And so in Kali Yuga, even if you get the most amazing Brahmin to chant, we can't chant like them anymore. So in Kali Yuga, it says the process to counteract all our negative karma is through Sankirtan, Harinam, congregational chanting of God's names. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to go meet a group and chant the Maha Mantra, and then after that, go and continue to commit. It's negative karma, right? So we don't want to be like the elephant. The elephant takes a bath, gets clean, and as it comes out of the water, what does the elephant do? Roll in the mud all over again. So that's not what he's saying, the Vedas say. The Lord Chaitanya teaches, take the association of devotees. If you get the association of devotees this life, Lord Chaitanya says you are already in a moksha state. You are already in a liberated state. Once you get the sangha of devotees. On top of that, if you perform the yagya for this age, congregational chanting of the holy names of Krishna, you already are uprooting your negative karma, not from the fruit or the leaf. No, you're from the root. You're uprooting that tree. So then the yogis understand, if you surrender to God, Krishna takes away all your negative karma. But he takes it away gradually. A devotee chanting the Maha Mantra, no more eating animals, cherish the cow, respect all humans, and then you walk into the door and you jam your finger. wow, why did I get that? So there's some karma. Okay, your original karma, you were supposed to lose your whole hand. You only jam your finger. So Krishna reduces the karma. God reduces the karma gradually so that we don't become satisfied with the pleasures of this material world. Because remember, we're looking for a deeper pleasure, which is in the spiritual world. So God reduces our karma. We're going to get old. We're going to get sick. But the suffering we're going to go through is so less than if we were just a materialistic person, right? So the process to uproot our negative karma, he says, it's hard, but through Harinam, through Sankirtan, associating with like-minded people, chanting Krishna's name, and living. Not so when you finish it, you move from one aspect of devotional service to another. You read the Bhagavatam, chant Krishna's name. You go out, you serve some animals, serve some plants. You go and you teach your yoga, doing it as a service to God with no attachment to the results. You're living your life like this. This is what it means. No more negative karma, either good or and even bad, because bad or good, because you are giving everything to God. So this is how we can start to transcend the three modes of nature and the karma of this world. Let's continue with the last mantra of this beautiful chapter. Next mantra 52, he says, as it is not possible to filter muddy water through mud, or purify wine-stained pot with wine, it is not possible to counteract the killing of men by the sacrifice of animals. So I love this analogy. If you have muddy water and you're trying to purify the muddy water and you're sending the muddy water through mud, when it goes through the mud, it'll be muddy still. If you have a wine-stained pot and you're trying to purify it by pouring wine, the pot will remain a stain. So he's saying, by offering yagyas, it's very hard. So what is the process? In Kali Yuga, through Harinam, sacred song vibration. By purifying our mind through thoughts. When we listen, it's called Shravanam, Kirtanam. When we listen to the Bhagavatam, hear it, then you kirtan, you teach it to others. You share it to your friends, to your family members in a beautiful, beautiful way that they can accept it, right? So you have to learn the art of making it pleasurable for your family and friends. There's a saying, right? You go home, no one in your family will respect you. You need a third party, right? I tell my family members this, they don't listen to me. I bring one of my friends, oh, wow, we're going to follow him. Sometimes you need a third party to share it. So don't try and force it down your family member. Nah, it won't work. It's very hard, right? Of all my family members, about 3 of them, right, understand and resonate with me on this platform. Gradually, see. The rest, I just, wait. It's all about timing through the holy name, through hearing the Bhagavatam, teaching them gracefully. Then Smaranam, remembering Krishna, remembering God throughout the day. See God's hands everywhere. The sun, the moon, the water, the taste of water. This is how we can uproot our negative karma. Because we've all created negative karma, right? So as we start to become dharmic, like this powerful king, Yudhishthira, my teachers say, okay, chant now, forget the past. Right? The past, we've done so many crazy things, Charu. Chant now, and let's evolve from today. So let's meditate on these mantras for a couple of minutes. And this is how he ends the teachings of Queen Kunti, this chapter. Next chapter starts, we'll see why Yudhishthira got bewildered. So that he can, we say, Bhishma Gita, the song of Bhishma. Right? In the Bhagavatam, we're going to hear Gopi Gita, we're going to hear Bhishma Gita, we're going to hear so many powerful. So Bhagavad Gita, we're going to next chapter, the teachings of grandfather Bhishma Gita. Palms on the knees, touch the tip of the thumbs, tip of the next fingers, close the eyes. Bring the awareness to the breath. Your breath is a beautiful gift from God. Bring the gaze center of the eyebrows and contemplate your amazing body. Your body is another gift from God. Your body of 9 gates, 5 elements. As this gift is your body is a gift from God, this gift should be not just used for your sense enjoyment. The Vedas teach, as King Yudhishthira mentions, your body is to please others. Contemplate how you, with your karma, how others benefited from your body and mind, how you help others. King Yudhishthira is teaching that once we have this material body, it's not perfect. We're going to make faults. We're going to make mistakes. For those mistakes, there are reactions. There's karmic reactions. How do we uproot? How do we stop the negative karma from coming back? The process Krishna teaches Arjuna is through the force of love, through Bhakti Yoga. In Bhakti Yoga, you do everything to please God. Let God work through us. We become mediums for God to speak through us, teach through us, empower, and we give all the fruits as an offering to God. Detach from the results. Doing the duty more and more out of love and not attached to the results. Every day we are put in situations where there is a result. But always just remember the result is not in our hands. The result is in God's hands. Then our mind gets peaceful, our heart gets peaceful. We're burning off the negative karma. Then we become qualified to go back to the spiritual world where those 640 million souls, when they took their last breath, they saw Krishna. They went back to the spiritual world. That's what we want. When we prepare ourselves, when we act like this, we're preparing ourselves to always doing it, recognizing the results is in Krishna's hands, God's hands. Throughout our day, little drop, little drop, little drop. Then when we take our last breath, we can remember the beautiful form of Krishna. Go back to the spiritual world. In this day and age, we don't want to be like an elephant. The elephant takes a nice clean bath, rolls back in the mud. So as we hear the Bhagavatam, we associate with devotees, we chant, we share it, try and keep evolving every day a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. From time to time, we will roll back in the dust, make a step or two back, pick yourself up, keep going forward. And we get stronger and stronger in moving forward when we have the association of like-minded people. As we associate with these great powerful beings, King Yudhishthira, Queen Kunti, Vyasadeva, we get their association, we get inspired to evolve. Remember, in our culture, whenever we use the phrase most, that's where falls ego. We're not the most anything. That's God. God is the most everything. We are servants of God. In the spiritual culture, we're not the most knowledgeable, most humble. No. God is the most humble. God is the most knowledgeable. God is the most forgiving. God is the most tolerant. We can pray to God to bless us with these qualities. Take a deep inhalation. Bring the palms to the heart. Lower the brain, the skull towards the higher self, towards the Atma, towards the Lord in the heart, who is the most everything, the most caring, loving, patient, forgiving being. us to lift the head, open the eyes. Hariyam Tatsat. Thank you all so much. Hope you all have a beautiful evening. Try and take the philosophy into your daily life. Tomorrow you'll do so many things, but you'll have to, the results, it's in God's hands. See Krishna everywhere, then our mind gets purified that way. Thank you, Bashak. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Nekunja. Thank you, Helene. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Babadi. Thank you, Yvonne. Hariyam Tatsat.